You are listening to the Disney Dreamgirls podcast, an unofficial Disney theme parks podcast, and this is show 196 for Sunday, the 11th of February 2018.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to the Disney Dreamgirls podcast. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my good friend Jayne Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. While you listen, why not drop us a tweet at DisDreamGirls or at Jayne Phipps. You can email us info@disneydreamgirls.com. You can join in the fun on our social media pages, facebook.com/DisneyDreamgirls, and our website is disneydreamgirls.com. Finally, why not leave us an iTunes review? It really does help our show to be found by those Disney-loving fans. Well, my lovely hello there, Jayne. How are you, my gorgeous one?
Hello there, Michelle. It feels like this is ages since we've done this.
I know, we've had a bit of a busy January between the two of us, haven't we, my lovely?
I thought the beginning of a year was always the quiet time, and with work and a daughter who's been extremely busy with both karate and guitar lessons and concerts and goodness knows what else, my time seems to have just fizzled away somewhat this month.
I know, and unfortunately my head has been somewhat distracted. There's a lot of things going on with the kids, and one of them is that their grandma is quite ill. And I mean, getting to the point where we don't know how much longer she's going to have. She's got dementia. She's now not eating very well. She's basically wasting away. And it's just sort of, waiting to see if there's going to be a phone call, unfortunately, which is quite sad. And for the girls, they've lost, other members of the family when they were a little bit younger and can remember that. But for Kieran, it's going to be the first real big significant member of his family that he will have had to grieve for, because when his granddad died, he was only 2 and he couldn't really recall that. So I'm not looking forward to the next few weeks.
No, it's not a pleasant time, and I've been going through it with some of the girls at work as well, having lost people recently, and it really does strike home actually that we ought to enjoy the moments that we have with these people while they're around, because unfortunately they seem to get taken away from us when we least expect it.
This is my ethos with everything right now. You don't know what's round the corner, so get out, enjoy yourself, live life to the full, and make sure every second counts. Don't just waste your life away sat on that sofa doing nothing. If there's a great big beautiful world out there, go and explore. And as some of you will have seen on the old Facebook-a-rooney, I've been trying my best to get out there and explore.
I'm going to say, Michelle, you've been to some, I want to say it, some Wuthering Heights.
Heathcliff. It's me, it's Kathy. I so wanted to do that. For those of you who don't know, I live near the Bronte country, and if you're not in the UK, you might not be familiar with this famous literary family of the Brontes, but they wrote classics such as Pride and Prejudice, Wuthering Heights. I'm sure you've all heard of Kate Bush's song Wuthering Heights. It's like a classic. And at the weekend I went out on a really beautiful walk over to the waterfall, which is about a 5-mile round trip. And a very steep 5-mile round trip and a very muddy 5-mile round trip. But it's all part of my Fitness for Disney campaign.
And you're doing amazing. And you are so lucky to have the Yorkshire Moors on your doorstep, because you've got some astounding scenery around you.
I know. I'm so looking forward to my birthday, because I was asked what I wanted to do. And for the last sort of 10 years, I've always wanted to do this particular walk, and I've never been fit enough to do it. Well, for my birthday, I'm planning on doing it. And those of you who like Harry Potter will know in one of the films, and I can't remember the title of it for the life of me, but it's set on this sort of landscape of like little rocks, like all mosaic next to each other. Everybody's now screaming, Michelle, it's called blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry, I don't know the title. But I want to go and do that walk.
Okay.
So that's my birthday weekend sort of penciled in. Michelle's off to Malham Cove.
I have to admit, I have been there in my youth. And when I say youth, I mean my teenage years. So it's a long time ago.
Anyone in the UK who does geography at school goes to Malham Cove. It's just the classic day trip. So
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
I must have missed that. I don't think I took geography. Anyway, many moons ago, we were going to talk about Disney.
Were we really? Oh, wow, of course we were, yes.
Yeah. I can't even remember where we were going. So basically, the pair of us have been incredibly busy. Anyway, let's talk Disney.
Right.
So I've got a new feature to start the show, and I was thinking of something different that we could do. And I think a lot of shows look at the current news, and I thought, well, let's look at the history on this day in history.
Okay.
And come up with 5 fun things that happened, not just necessarily today, but round about this time period. And do you know what? I'm going to give you all a break from our voices because I'm going to give our Kieran a job. Keeping it in the family. Over to you, Kieran.
On this day in Disney history.
Hello, my lovelies. How are you doing? So, because I hijacked the show a while back, as punishment, I've got to do this segment. And this segment is called On This Day in Disney History. So how about we get right into it, shall we? Now, on the 10th of February in 1906, the Disney home on Trip Avenue in Chicago was sold, and Elias Disney, his wife Flora, and 5 children, Herbert, Raymond, Roy, Walter and Ruth, moved to Marceline, Missouri. Then, moving to 1951, Robert A. Iger was born on Long Island, New York. Since 2005, he has been president and chief executive of the Walt Disney Company, the 6th CEO in Disney history. Moving on to this day, on the 11th of February 1918, Imagineer, sculptor, and Disney legend Blaine Gibson was born in Rocky Ford, Colorado. We love this talented individual as he sculptured and created such a wealth of things we cherish, from the amazing audio animatronics, including the majority of the presidents in the Hall of Presidents at Walt Disney World, and the partner statue found in the hub of the Magic Kingdom at Disneyland, Disney World, and Tokyo Disney, and also at Walt Disney Studios in Burbank, California. Going to 1963, the Beatles recorded the Lennon-McCartney penned song Do You Want to Know a Secret, which John Lennon attributed to hearing his mother sing Wishing Well from the 1937 animated feature film Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. My mother's favourite film, so no surprise why that's in the script. Finally, moving to the 13th of February 1993, Lemaire's Kitchen restaurant opened in Fantasyland at the Magic Kingdom. It lasted 13 years before changing in 2006 to the Village Fry Shop, and in 2009, the Friar's Nook. Now, as I hand back over to Michelle and Jane, I gather they are going to delight you with their menu. So enjoy, folks. I've been a human being. You've also been a human being. Goodbye. Also, if you don't want me to say that, no reason that's in the script, I'll just say another version just so you're happy. My mother's favourite film. So no surprise who added that in. So if you don't like the mentioning of the script, then you can just use that. I need to go to work now. Bye.
We ended off that little feature there with Kieran. Thanks ever so much, son. You'll get your pocket money this week. Doing your chores. Talking about the Friar's Nook in Walt Disney World. And purely by coincidence, guess who's had a revamped menu?
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I know. It's like I planned it and everything. So the Friar's Nook it's basically a little tiny place in New Fantasyland where you can go and get, it's not a table service, it's not a counter service, it's like a snacky type of place. You can pick up a beverage and you can pick up what they class as an entree, but I'm sort of going with it's run by food, it's fuel on the go.
Yes, okay.
Their menu seems to be all based around tater tots.
Right.
Which is a bit of a weird thing for us Brits because tater tots basically we don't have.
They don't exist over here, do they?
No.
No.
My understanding of a tater tot is something sort of the size, little bit, about double the size of my thumbnail, which is a bit like a hash brown but smaller.
Yes. Would we call it a croquette, maybe? I don't know.
Well, croquettes have mashed potato in.
Oh, yeah.
These have got little lumps of potato in and sort of a crispy outer shell.
Strange, but carry on.
Yeah, so basically they've got rid of the mac and cheese, which has been a particular favourite of many people, and
Yeah,
they've
definitely.
brought out loaded buffalo chicken tots, loaded fiesta tots, loaded Greek tots, a beef hot dog and tots, and a fried Twinkie.
Nice.
Having had looks at pictures of these, I've not yet tried them. I'm going to try my best to sort of describe them in turn. The buffalo chicken tots, for someone like myself who's fairly conscious about having protein, it's not something I would go with unless I shared with a friend. They ate the potato and I had the chicken.
Yeah, quite. Yeah, I'll be there with yourself. Yeah.
And then it'd work. The chicken looks fairly good. It looks like it's got like a pinky buffalo-y sort of spice to it. And it's not particularly spicy though.
Right.
So that one looks okay. The next one is the loaded fiesta tots, which is a chili. It's got some jalapenos on top, but again, that it's the jalapenos that are delivering the spice. I suppose if you don't like spice, you can always say jalapeno no.
Okay.
And then this is one for you, Jayne, and
the
loaded Greek tots, which are loaded with tzatziki, tomatoes, onion, banana peppers, olives and feta cheese.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
I can see myself saying, ignore the potato tots and just give me the feta cheese and the chicken.
You know what I'm like, Michelle, and I will be there with you. I don't do potato. I haven't had potato since, I can't remember when. So give me the protein, give me the fats, but leave the potato out of it.
And I don't think either of us are going to go with the dessert, which is basically a fried Twinkie. That's wrong. Now, for me, a Twinkie is something I've just never latched onto when I've gone to the States. So I had to Google it.
Really?
Yeah, because I've never had one.
I will confess lots of years ago to having had one, because it's the quintessential, for us Brits, we hear about Twinkies and we don't really know what they are because we don't have them over here. So I have had them in the past. And even before I got all healthy eating and stuff, I didn't particularly like them.
To me, they taste a little bit manufactured.
Yeah, chemically.
Yeah. I must admit the first time I ever came across the word was watching Ghostbusters film.
Yes, yeah.
You know, it was like, what's a Twinkie? Now, I'll just give you a top tip. Don't look on Urban Dictionary, because there are some very, very unsavoury slang words for Twinkie.
Yes. We won't go into that, will we, on here, Michelle? No, gloss over that.
It's basically a golden sponge cake with a creamy filling, and it's distributed by the sub-company called Hostess. And I must admit, it does look quite appetising in the picture, but I have heard a few reports saying that it's a bit sort of greasy. Yeah,
well, again, it's this deep fried thing, isn't it? It's not something that we particularly do over here in this country, whereas I appreciate in the US. Interestingly, I've just watched a little mini-series on Netflix all to do with deep frying and then competition-based deep frying competition things. So I appreciate it's quite a big thing in the States, but we're not used to it, are we, for our palate anyway?
Yeah. I imagine that they fry this off in the same fat that they use for the potatoes. So I imagine the potatoey oily taste adds something to it to make it a little, the taste not as sweet. But for me, if you like your Monte Cristo, it's that sort of like donutty type thing.
Yeah.
I'd imagine one for you to try out. Perhaps you might not want to eat the whole one. You might want to sort of share it out and have a bite each to give you that big sugar hit.
I think I'll still stay clear though, Michelle, if it's all right with you.
Okay. Anyway, that's moving away from historical news, Jayne. So I gather you've got some up-to-date news.
Yeah, I had the privilege of looking to see what was coming up on the horizon this week, and I'll apologise in advance, Michelle.
Go on.
Because I've got a bit Star Warsy with it.
Oh, how did I guess that?
Well, it's kind of inevitable with asking me to look at the news, really. What did you expect? So we have got the new Solo Star Wars trailers come out. Are we excited, Michelle?
Well, go on, tell me more about it, and then I'll tell you whether I'm excited.
Well, I mean, it's very early days. The film's due out on Memorial Day, which is the end of May.
Hang on a minute. Memorial Day, end of May. Does that mean we actually get it the same time?
Well, quite possibly, because when normally with the big films like this, they do tend to release them contemporaneously.
Ooh,
it's a big word. I don't know where that came from, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, out late May. They did a little teaser trailer during the Super Bowl on last Sunday, and then they had the proper trailer during Good Morning America on the Monday. So you can imagine what it was like in our house, Michelle. Literally, and I'm not kidding. We woke up on Monday morning and the TV went straight onto YouTube to try and find the trailer. So we had to watch the teaser trailer at like 7 o'clock on Monday morning as I'm trying to get ready for work. And then when I got in from work, it was look what's out, look what's out. And I had to then watch the full trailer. So if I've been subjected to it, all of you guys can be subjected to it as well.
So what did you think to it?
Actually, I thought it looked quite all right. It did look quite good. I like the look of it. I have to admit, Alden, and if I say his surname right, Ehrenreich, who's going to play the young Solo, it's a bit weird seeing somebody that's not Harrison Ford. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he's got his floppy hair and everything, and it's like, and you didn't really see much of him in the trailer, so it's going to be interesting to see how that transpires. But I thought Donald Glover playing Lando Calrissian looked the part, and Woody Harrelson looked the part as well. So I am very intrigued with it, and no doubt this household will be buying the tickets to go and see it. I guarantee that.
I'm sure Disney are keeping all crossed that it takes off and that it's a success, because it won't have been a cheap movie to make.
Well, no, and going on the back of that, we know that Rian Johnson, who directed the last film that was out at Christmas, The Last Jedi, he's been given another trilogy to direct and produce that is going to be away from the Skywalker trilogy. But yesterday it came out that the two writers of Game of Thrones, which I've never watched Game of Thrones, so I have no opinion on this, called Benioff and Weiss, apparently, they've been announced to be writing and producing another set of Star Wars movies, another trilogy that's separate to the Skywalker stuff and separate to what Rian Johnson's going to be doing. This universe of Star Wars is just seeming to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And all kudos to them if they've got the writing team behind Game of Thrones involved. It would appear to be set to be another good thing for them to have as such. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes. And there's also Star Wars Galactic Nights is back on May the 27th, I want to say. That's back at Hollywood Studios, which they did last year. No ticket prices have been announced for that, though, as yet. So we'll just have to keep our eyes peeled to see how much that's going to be and what it actually entails. I think that'll be out in the next couple of weeks, I would imagine.
Something came across the old internet this week, and I think I had it from about 5 different people, because people know I love Snow White. You know, the Disney Spirit jerseys with the big Disneyland or Walt Disney World on the back? They've brought them out princess-themed.
Oh, no.
There's a Snow White one that's blue at the top, which fades into yellow, and on the back, red glitter writing.
Nice.
Disneyland.
Nice.
And then there's an Ariel one, there's an Aurora and a Belle that I've seen pictures of. And it's like, oh my word. And I'm keeping all crossed that my good friend Tommy Allison can manage to snag me one at the weekend when he goes.
Ah, yeah, nice.
Friends in high places.
Friends in high places indeed. Going slightly off that, we've got some new characters appearing over at the Carnival show at Discovery Island in the Animal Kingdom. From the May the 5th this year, you can actually see Jose Carrico and Panchito from the Three Caballeros.
Ooh.
Which I thought was a nice addition, because it's going to be the 20th anniversary of Animal Kingdom this year, which I can't quite believe, actually. That seems to have come out of nowhere.
Gosh.
Which leads me on quite nicely. They have released a few different bits and bobs that are happening over at Walt Disney World this summer. I think there's going to be a bit of a Pixar-y theme going on, because obviously The Incredibles 2 comes out this year. So I think they are referring to it as an incredible summer. So I think you can imagine that there's going to be lots of incredible characters and Pixar-related shenanigans going on. They've announced for the Magic Kingdom that there's going to be a party in Tomorrowland with Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl and Frozone. And you're also going to see Edna Mode as well, which is apparently the first time that she will have been out there interacting. There's going to be a super dance party on the Rocket Tower stage with some more incredible characters. And superheroes are going to take over the American Gardens Theatre at Epcot. You can have Star-Lord and Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy over there with an alien band, apparently. And it's going to be all music from the mixtapes 1 and 2, which is from the movie, Michelle. You do know that, don't you?
I've seen the first one now, Jayne, and I stayed awake through it all.
Wowzers. Just one more to go then, Michelle.
I was really impressed because I decided to watch it and I watched most of it on the plane about 20 minutes before I nodded off. And then I watched it the other week with Kieran. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was okay.
Well, just going on that tact as well, Mr. Iger has made an announcement about money spending over at Disneyland Paris. I think it was hinted at quite a while ago, and talking about, bringing over some of their IPs over into Disneyland Paris. And there's quite a rumour going on about what might happen to Tower of Terror.
Oh, they're talking about Guardians again.
Now, I know you liked Guardians over at Disneyland, California Adventure. So what would you think about them swapping DLP over?
No.
Oh, okay. That's ended that conversation then, hasn't it?
I like that different parks have slightly different attractions. Like you've got a different haunted mansion in Walt Disney World to Disneyland. I like the fact now that if you want to go on the Tower of Terror, there's the best version in Walt Disney World, but there's a slightly different version in Disneyland Paris. And then there's the Tower of Terror come Guardians of the Galaxy attraction in Disney's California Adventure. So I like that you've got the same principle but told differently. Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see if that does come to fruition. I think it's about $2.1 billion they've said they're going to spend. So it'll be interesting to see where that all goes and how they do it.
Right, well, let's wrap up the news and we're going to go on to have a fun feature.
Ooh. Oh, it's a long while since I've rode that.
Our nearest one is in Paris, Jayne, so I think the last time you rode it was with me.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the one that you've got the audio from.
Oh, well, true. I didn't ride that with you.
No.
Let's go to Disneyland, Jayne.
Yeah, let's go.
Yay. So basically, this attraction is a dark ride and it's in 3 different Disney theme parks. There's a version in Disneyland in California, there's a Tokyo Disneyland version and a version in Disneyland Paris. Jayne, can you put them into the correct order of opening day? And can you have a hazard of a guess of which decade they opened?
Oh, crikey. Well, obviously Disneyland's going to be first.
Which Disneyland? They're all Disneyland.
The original Disneyland.
I'm being picky.
How dare you ask me that question? Oh, crikey. I honestly don't know when it opened. So are we going to say 70s?
Nope.
No. Earlier?
Nope.
Oh. Ooh. Well, I'm guessing 80s then.
That's a pretty good guess for 2 of them.
Well, I would say Anaheim, then Tokyo, then Paris.
Surprisingly, you're wrong.
Oh, is it Paris, then Tokyo?
Nope. It's Tokyo, which opened on the 15th of April 1983.
Right.
Then 23rd of May 1983, Disneyland California.
Oh.
And then 12th of April 1992, the version in Disneyland Paris opened.
Well, that's flummoxed me then.
I know. The attraction is based on Walt Disney's animated film version of this classic story, and it was the studio's second animated feature film that they released.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel so honoured I picked up the little Jiminy Cricket from Terry Harden's release.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So cute. Anyway, let's take us back in time to 1976. I was a mere 5 years old.
Oh,
I know. And we're going over to California because the Mickey Mouse Club Theatre in Fantasyland was going to close. And they came about this idea to create a dark ride based on the Pinocchio story.
okay.
And the original plan saw guests riding in a wooden effect sort of carved toy round the story. Things got shelved and it got put away into a cupboard. However, just like Disney always does, it reinvents itself, and this was brought out of the cupboard, and it was going to be one of the attractions they wanted to put into Tokyo Disneyland.
Right.
So the timing seemed right, so they decided to roll it out a little bit later, about a month or so later, for Disneyland in California ride. Gone was the toy-shaped carts, as guests now ride in a sort of a wooden-style cart, basically. It's very similar to the ones that you've got for Snow White. It's a sort of nondescript wood effecty. And it eventually did go into the spot which had previously been occupied by the Mickey Mouse Club Theatre. Let's talk technical stuff.
All right, okay.
Stromboli's marionette show which is in the attraction, where guests are inside the giant cage. That's kind of a cool effect. I like that. It was the first attraction created by Disney to use the holographic material which appears on that handheld mirror in the scene where the boys turn into donkeys on Pleasure Island.
Oh, okay, right.
Also, Pepper's ghost, which we know is used in the Haunted Mansion, is used when the blue fairy disappears, just leaving that pile of fibre optic fairy dust on the floor.
Right.
Now, I was having a little Google in the Tokyo version on the website, and they've got a little description that tells you what the attraction is suitable for. It says, okay to go on rainy days, you go through darkness, it's suitable for children under 3, parents, child and grandparents. So basically, if you are an older adult and you don't have children,
you're not allowed on.
It's not for you.
No.
If you're in your 60s and you don't have grandchildren, you're not going on.
No. Teenagers, banned.
Yeah, completely. So I thought that was quite funny. Very cute. It's an attraction I absolutely adore. Most days you can get on it within about 15-20 minutes. There's never really a long queue for it. And it's just such a lovely feel-good type of story. What do you think, Jayne?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I'm not an overtly big fan of the movie. I think there's a few little bits a bit disturbing in some respects, aren't they? Because it is your classic fairy tale where there's a bit of darkness, a lot of darkness going on.
A bit?
A lot. But I do love key elements of it, and I do love the ride. And I mean, at the end of the day, I've got a Jiminy Cricket on my arm, so there's a little bit of love there for good old Pinocchio. And it's a classic sort of ride that I really enjoy. It's your traditional dark ride that everybody knows. I'm a sucker for traditional dark rides.
Yeah, it's a cool, fun for the family, really nice attraction, really fun. And, it's one of these that every time I seem to ride it, my eye catches something different because there's lots of little details that you can pick up as you're travelling through.
Yeah, I think that goes for a lot of these dark rides at Disney. It's that element of why people say, why do you keep riding it? It's like, well, you keep riding it because you see something different every time you go on it. Because you might be sat in a different place or on a different opposite side of the car or whatever it may well be, and you catch different things. And you can never get too much of a Disney ride anyway. So that's why you ride them again and again and again.
I do feel quite sad about this attraction that the characters don't have a bigger park presence.
Yeah, Geppetto and Pinocchio, I think, are probably more associated with Disneyland Paris because they seem to make quite a few appearances over there. Not quite sure why that is.
Yeah, they're normally out in Fantasyland near the Bella Notte restaurant. So you can tend to meet them, not necessarily together, but in the US parks, it's really difficult to find them. Sometimes they might be out at Epcot at the International Gateway.
Yes, yeah. Strange that. I don't quite know why that is, but...
Yeah. You can find Pinocchio over at World Bazaar or Fantasyland in Tokyo Disneyland, though. But believe it or not, the Blue Fairy, I think, could be a really cool meet and greet. You cannot meet anywhere, but occasionally she pops up in parades randomly.
Didn't know that. Yeah, it's not something I actually thought about because obviously the Blue Fairy is such an iconic image for Disney, really, isn't it? You'd think that would get used more than it does.
Yeah, Stromboli doesn't meet anywhere.
No.
Ever.
No.
Gideon may meet at Epcot, but otherwise it's over to Paris or Tokyo. And then if you want to meet John Worthington, aka Honest John Foulfellow, he can only be met in Fantasyland or the Mediterranean Harbour in Tokyo. Sometimes he's come out in the past at Halloween at Disneyland California, but that's it. You can't meet him anywhere else.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? I suppose it gives that exclusivity to these parks, but you'd think particularly Halloween would be the time for them to make appearances more frequently.
I remember once going into the Magic Kingdom and the kids met Pinocchio and it was amazing. But I've rarely seen him out in Walt Disney World, so it's a shame.
Yeah, it's not something I can say that I know I haven't got any photos with. Definitely haven't got any photos with. So yeah, it's see him on parades, and that might be about it from my memory. Yeah. You
do tend to see them in the parades, which is nice to do so. And this sort of links in to sort of like a restaurant, really, doesn't it? Well, there used to be Pinocchio's Village House in California, but it got made over to the Red Rose Tavern two places you can find a Pinocchio-themed restaurant. You've got Pinocchio's Village House in the Magic Kingdom, and you have got the very French named...
Oh, go on.
Au Chalet de la Marionnette.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to go with the one that I think's got the nicest menu.
Oh, right. Okay, which is that then?
Over in France.
Well, they have a reputation for food, so you would think that that would stand true.
Bear in mind, in France, as we've discussed umpteen times on the show, they have set menus.
They do, yes.
So you can basically have a hot dog, which can come with a curry-versed sauce, and that comes with either a side salad or chips. You can have a bagel with a burger in the middle, which I don't really get the idea of putting a bagel with a burger in the middle, because all your topping will sort of splurt out of the top.
I'm going to say, yeah, because that the hole in the middle, surely. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, but that comes with the same salad or fries, and you can have a dessert added onto that. But the interesting thing that I really like is you can get half a roast chicken.
Oh, okay.
And it comes with either a Black Forest sort of dessert,
right,
or a drink, a fresh fruit cup. Kind of like that.
Yeah, it's not too bad, actually. Kind of suit our palates.
Yeah, that chicken is really good. Served with a side salad. It's a pretty tasty lunch.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's pop over to Walt Disney World, and the best thing about this attraction is that you can sneak in to the top floor and you can watch It's a Small World.
Yay.
That's our favourite fact, isn't it, Jayne?
Yeah, definitely.
They have these little signs that you can hold up and people below can see them and you can wave at them, and it's great. A nice little bit of interaction. But the menu here is very different to Paris.
Okay.
You have pastas, you have flatbreads, and you have different forms of chicken.
Right, okay.
So you can have a chicken pasta, you can have a chicken Caesar salad, you can have a chicken parmesan sandwich, or you can have chicken breasts.
Right.
Chicken breast nuggets. The pasta you can get on its own without the chicken. And then you have a choice of flatbreads. At the moment they're doing a Hawaiian, a caprese, and a cheese one, and a sausage and pepperoni.
Right. I think I have a vague memory of having a flatbread in there lots of years ago.
I'm not a fan of the bases on flatbreads. I just don't think that the value is there for the price of them, to be honest.
No.
I think for me it's going to have to probably be the chicken salad, or perhaps get the chicken and pasta and give somebody the pasta.
Yeah, I'm going to say chicken Caesar, I think you mentioned, probably would be my choice.
Yeah. But my top tip to anybody wanting to go and eat here is, if you're eating bread, garlic breadsticks served with their house marinara sauce, $4.99. That is a cracking little snack. They also serve a tomato basil soup, and they have some little side salads. There's a side caprese salad or a side Caesar salad, which could go quite nicely if you wanted to have, say, a portion of chicken nuggets to go with that. Just saying, I think that sounds really good.
Yeah.
But it's nothing sort of unusual. It's nothing to write home about. It's your typical
standard fare, isn't it?
It's your food on the go to feed hungry masses, and if you've got picky children, there's going to be something there that'll suit their palate.
Yeah.
That's all done. Job's a good one. Basically, that is me and Jayne now wrapping up this fun-filled show. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope we've entertained. We will be back next week with another fun-filled Disney-obsessed show. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our contact information is Twitter @DisDreamGirls, email info@DisneyDreamGirls.com. Facebook page is at facebook.com/DisneyDreamGirls. Our website is DisneyDreamGirls.com. You can also find me on The Avengers, which is released every other Monday. And please give us an iTunes review. We really do appreciate it. Even just retweeting our posts on Twitter, telling your Disney-loving friends about us, makes us very, very grateful. But until our next show, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.